Hi, folks. Good afternoon and God bless you. I hope you're having a great day. So, I wanted to talk just for a couple of minutes about the recent experience I've had at my new employer and the fact that I don't participate in this occult masking before death ceremony, um, nor radiation, a gun pointed to my head parody, an excuse for taking your temp, and the other ritual abuse practices that these lapdogs of Satan are trying to enforce upon the whole globe. These measures that these lapdogs are trying to enforce upon the whole globe. So yeah, I don't participate in that, and I made it clear when I became employed the first day that I don't do this. Matter of fact, I didn't even go in with a full. I mean, I bought temporary stuff to go in and get started because I didn't. I thought perhaps that they wouldn't know the law, they wouldn't hire me, but they did. And there hasn't been an issue until yesterday. Today's Saturday the 8th. Yesterday the 7th, I was in there doing the work that I'm usually doing. And oh, by the way, the place that I work is also the same place that has recently made well, in our community, news in New York for terrorizing a child and throwing out people who were unmarked, right? So we know who's well, all these corporations are lapdogs of Satan. Good portion, but in any event, that's where I work. So uh, these bigwigs came in, right? The district manager, the handler of the district manager, his handler, and then the top handler of all the handlers came in. I'm sure the slave masons. So they came in and said, "Oh, why is this person not masked? Why are they not masked?" It came right up to me and asked me. All these guys are like 6'4" or whatever, and uh, I said, because I have this. What I'm making this video, folks, because I want you to know that you can do this too. So I told these guys, "Sir, I have a religious exemption under Title VII. It's under Title VII, and I'd be happy to put it in writing for you if you need that." So he gasped and said, "Oh, I've never heard of a religious exemption for mass, only for, you know." And I said, "No, absolutely not. It can clearly apply to that." And now it may not. Anyway, we didn't go into it then. But he ran off to go call corporate. This is at night, so he couldn't get a quick reply, or after about half an hour of waiting, he couldn't get a reply from corporate. I heard them talking about me, saying, "Oh, we could cut her now and just um send her home and let her about." So they didn't know what they were debating about what to do. So I silently prayed. I stayed steadfast and on point with doing my job, um, and just kept doing what I was doing. So they were all milling about in the front, real awkward like, and ended up that they uh, left. Nothing happened. My manager, who's worked there, is a wonderful lady. I love this lady. Has worked there for 16 years, and she outruns all these kids, easy like that. And they wrote her up because one of the employees there wasn't wearing a face diaper. So, you know, they're going hard on this again in these measures. Draconian measures. Measures of the dragon. So freaking obvious. Masking for death, the deprivation of oxygen. Like that, how the hell is that a health measure? And we take it seriously. So, in any event, then the next day, that was so that was day before yesterday. It must have been Thursday. So Friday I go back in, and there's another manager on there. Oh, and then the guy at the end of the night, the guy comes up when they're about to leave and says, "I'm going to look into this, and we'll be getting back with you about that." And I pointed to the wall where his own company's notice says, all employees were required to wear the face diaper unless a religious or medical exemption authorizes them not to. right? So that's on their wall, and they're giving me a hard time about it. So, folks, this is how you really have to educate your employers. They're not educated. You have to educate them. Now, all this other stuff's going down in the Supreme Court. They're going to rule that Biden can pursue unconstitutional measures. We already know that that's probably what they're going to do, under the guise of health and safety, which is basically the killing and mutation of humanity in Luciferian terms. You know, you got to hear the truth for what they're telling you when they say health and safety. They ain't talking about your welfare. So, anyway, folks, what ended up happening was the next day, my friend has introduced me to a lady that I um, have appreciated, because this has really taught me about Title VII and Title IV, is Peggy Hall. And we happen to have one of Peggy Hall's placards. Her husband's a pastor, and he has signed a statement saying, "Hey, the wearer of this badge or this placard, the issuer has tests that all of this crap is against this person's religious beliefs. So under Title VII, you ought to take note, or you're going to be held accountable for it to the fullest extent of the law." And absolutely, I will. I'll go to the EEOC. I'll go to Virginia's version of DFEH. I'll organize a protest out in front of their restaurant every day that says, "Apple, you know what, is discriminating against Christians." No problem. No problem about that. So, he came up to me and said he's going to look into it, blah, blah, blah. The next day I brought in Peggy Hall's placard, and I'm going to start making these too, and I'm going to put a medical directive on mine that says, in the case of any emergency, nobody touch me. I don't want any medical assistance, quote unquote. This person does not comply with these things and does not want to be handled by any medical care providers. None whatsoever. I'm aware of that. So, folks, you know, it ended up that I submitted that Peggy Hall's placard. This was the first time that these people had ever heard of it, and these people, they own like, between all of them, they're like 51 Applebee's. And they had never heard of somebody who, because of a religious exemption, didn't do this. So, folks, we got to start spreading this message. People don't know this. You know, you're really hurting your body to do this, let alone the fact that it is part of a satanic cult ritual. So anyway, folks, I love you. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.